You know, what do you do when a 100-year flood comes through and wipes out almost everything? Well, you just lick your wounds and you start rebuilding. It takes a while, but you got to get started. You know, this flood hit in 2015 and we've been slowly rebuilding ever since. And it's finally time to rebuild and build some new paddocks so that we can move the goats to help prevent our parasite issues, to help contain them in a smaller area so we can keep better track of our kids and predator issues that we don't know if we're having or not. And when you start doing that, it takes a large family unit to get that done. And by large, I'm talking about him in the background. That is my large family unit. So Blake has been helping, trying to get paddocks finished and complete in time to start kidding in this paddock that we're working on. The trees that Lisa is going to come down through here with the skid steer, and she's going to try to cut these trees without cutting the wires. That's the beauty of that Marshall saw. It's not a real fast spinning saw. It's just a real slow, like a scissor. She's going to try to cut them out of the fence without tearing the fence up, right?
Yep.
So you're going to have to clean all of these right here out of our way, so you can get to those cedars.
Yep.
On the fence right in there, because you got to clear all those out. Okay. So I would suggest just getting all these out of the way. Yep. Right here on this terrace. Where do you want me to put all this? Well, just pile it somewhere over there against the terrace or something.
Just on the other side right here?
Yeah, just pile it right over on that side. Okay. The main thing is just take your time. Trees get out of our way so we can work. This one, you know, the little ones, all of these trees right here that you can get out of the way.
Up to the hump, edge of the creek.
Up to the edge of the creek, right, because what we'll do is we'll keep this fence like they had it. Yep. That means when you get up here, all these little trees like this will be great if you can get those, because this runs all the way across straight. And then they drop down with a secondary thing down low for a gap. Okay. So all of these trees right in here that you can get without getting dangerous, you know, down in the creek, in this little peninsula right here, will help us. All right. And then, well, let's see what time that is when you get to there. By then it'll be dinner time. Right? Yep. Okay, so Lisa's done a great job. She's managed to get this fence clear with all the trees that were grown up in it. And you can't see, maybe she'll show here in a minute, the stack of trees that are just right here. This was a horrible spot. Tree trunks, all wires running through the tree trunks, so she did a good job getting them out. Consequently, we have a lot of broken wire, a lot of wire that we're having to fix. So what we're doing is we're going down through here and we're just pulling the wire off the post. We're splicing it back together where it was cut by the skid steer, and then we're going to put it back together to where it's a barbed wire fence again like it was. Go ahead and re-stretch it, try to get it halfway decent, and then we're going to kind of tell you a little bit later what we're going to do with it as far as to make it goat proof. This is a good example of what I was talking about with the tree stumps and the wire growing through it. This right here I'm pulling, and you can see down here it's pulling the tree stump. So we'll have to go over there and cut that off. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to put the old electric fence knot on it. I know there's a name for it, but just like everything else, I don't know what the name is. I just know it's easier if you can get these barbs off and have a slick wire. It just makes it a lot easier, so I just kind of work them off like that, and then I twist it back together like that. I'll do the other side the same, like that. The first thing I do is, I need a little bit of slack here. I'm going to drop this one. I'm going to go to this one, and I just twist it over like that. Run this one through. That barb's going to be kind of in the way, but maybe I can get around it. Error. This needs to go on that side like that. That needs to go on that side like that. Tight like that. Now I'm gonna pull it, and it pulls against itself like that. So what we're doing now is we're continuing working on our splits for our first goat area that we've done here. We used that high tensile 1348-12, I think is the number, on the goat fence with the it gets narrower as it gets down lower. And then we're going to use for our splits, if we have a cow fence in place, according to Greg Christensen, just a semi-cow fence, we're going to put a single wire electric offset off of that to control our goats. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work, because I've got a little bit of a question if they're on the other side, you know, how that offset this way is going to do. So I may go back, and if it's between two pastures that are both going to contain goats at some point, the same herd, I may, instead of offsetting, I may just put it down the fence line as another wire. I'm not 100% sure on how I'm going to do that, because I don't want to go back and put a single wire offset on both sides. However, if I had to do that, it would still be cheaper than building the net fence for all of my splits. And when I say splits, I'm talking about splits in my pastures or making my paddocks. So that's what we're doing today. We're continuing to work on that. We have to put some braces in here because we're crossing a creek, and we're going to need to put some type of gapping system for goats down through here. So Blake's over here, he's helping. Anytime I have a hard labor, he gets to come, but he's helping. We're going to be pouring cement on these braces and setting them up so we can start working on them.
Now we're heading to the next brace.